This is another edition of Rich Answers, where I answer questions from past podcast guests that they would either like to know about me or just my thoughts in general. And today's questions are being sent in to us by a very special person, human being. This is Joe Anhalt, who's been on the show 4 or 5 times, maybe. Very close friend, very dear friend. I actually just returned from his wedding, and I'm excited to get into these. He is, I'm going to say, the most thoughtful person I know. Thoughtful friend, certainly. Shout out to all the friends out there. I'm very grateful for all the friends I have, and they're all very thoughtful. But Joe is so thoughtful, and so I'm excited for these. We're actually recording this in Millennium Park, downtown Chicago. If you're hearing like water, it's because there's these sculptures that are, it's kind of like a waterfall. And we're right here on Michigan Avenue. I thought, why not? So Joe's questions, let's get to them. Okay, so the first one, again, I went to Joe's wedding in upstate New York. Had a recent trip out to New York. You can check out kind of reflections on those. But he asks, did you have fun at my wedding? Absolutely. What was your favorite part? My favorite part of Joe's wedding, if we're talking specifically, the funnest part, I would say like the dance floor. So we had this, we're out in the countryside of New York, and we had this big tent, and the weather was perfect. It rained the next day, so luckily we got it in the night before. But there's this dance floor, and I just had so much fun out on the dance floor. Just like I remember thinking to myself, while we're all dancing and there's so many great people around, this is Joe's wedding. This is such a close friend of mine since the first day of college. And this is his wedding. And it was just like this moment, just thinking about that. Like, this is it. This is Joe's wedding. And I know how thoughtful he is and how intentional he is with everything that he does, and how things communicate through the organization of it. As an example, we used to be roommates for 4 years, and a lot of his ideas or thought process rubbed off on me, of like how to, we used to host people on Airbnb, and what is it like for someone staying at your place? How do you make them feel welcomed, right? How do you, when you have a space, how do you make it inviting and a positive experience for everybody? But so proud of him. He's out in New York and working in Soho and in the fashion industry. So I knew his wedding would feel kind of like it was kind of like a GQ event. It was pretty fun. And my plus one, Carlita, we talked about this on the way there. But everything, the whole experience, if we're going to talk about it that way, like Joe's event was an experience in itself that's unique to him, and just unique compared to any other thing. You know, we go upstate New York, it's beautiful, the hills, the countryside, and the bed and breakfast. Everything is so cute, and it's just like the whole weekend I just appreciated all those small things, and like in the back of my head knowing this isn't random, this isn't coincidental. Joe planned this all, and it was very intentional. And to experience the wedding that he and Kylie designed, it was just so beautiful, so magical. But my favorite part was like on the dance floor, because it kind of summed up everything of the weekend, of just like so many great people. Like I said, Joe is one of the more thoughtful people that I know, and it's reflective in who he surrounds himself with. So, and we went to his bachelor party in Arizona, and I think it was a great time to have that, and then be at the wedding, and all the memories that you made previously in the summer with different people that Joe loves. And it was just so special in this like intimate setting. Everybody there is so kind and easy to talk to, and just, it was so much fun, so much love. But the part was like the dance floor, because it's the capstone of that. And we just let loose, had a great time. The DJ was great. That was a lot of fun. That night, I think, because we had a shuttle that took us back to like our bed and breakfast that we stayed at. I remember we were like inside, and there was like a bar inside when the other bar closed. I remember talking to Joe's mom for like 45 minutes. And that's just like how it is. It's like his family is, it's not a coincidence that Joe is so thoughtful, because his whole family is. And I just love that. That was so much fun. Not the best part, the hangover the next day and driving back to New York City in the rain in a rental car. Not the most fun part, but overall, the wedding was just fantastic, and it was an event. It was an event that I'll never forget. Second question. Again, Joe's got these piercingly amazing questions. What's been a recent pleasant surprise? I think for me, it's fall now, but over the summer it was very transformative for me. I had another near-death experience. Just put another one on the board. When I was walking down a residential street, SUV pulls up, doors fly open, 3 guys with Uzi guns run at me and demand I give them everything I had. I said no. We're going back and forth. They're threatening to shoot me. So they hit me over the head with a gun. And then another guy punched me or hit me in the face with another one. And it's just been a lot of processing, right? And thinking about life, thinking about how I can make changes. And something that's been a pleasant surprise is just how open I can be with friends and honest, and they don't flinch. They just are like so helpful and encouraging. That's been a pleasant surprise, because I'm someone who doesn't reveal a whole lot, I would say, or doesn't share a whole lot with other people, like in a very intimate, honest way like that, just sharing my feelings. It feels good. It felt really good. And to know, the word therapy came up a lot this summer, and we've even had some videos that are kind of like therapy sessions in a way, but the definition of therapy is healing. And a pleasant surprise I found this summer was that I could talk to friends honestly, and through these conversations I felt more healed. It was definitely a part of a healing process. That was something really great to know and learn. A lot of times I feel alone, but I don't have to be. I just have to open myself up more. So that's been a pleasant surprise. It's been great. What's something you're optimistic about? Again, I'm going to go in a more personal direction. And it's like after this summer and this transformative summer of just processing, thinking, reflecting on life, a near-death experience will certainly have you reevaluating life and reflecting on it. And I'm making changes to my approach in life. I've looked at results and from the past, few years, and it's like, okay, this it's working here, it's not working there. Just make adjustments, right? Life is this journey, and it's okay to make changes. It's okay to change your mind on things. Just be open, right? And I think I've been a little too close and rigid. And so this fall is kind of I'm testing and practicing my new approach. And I'm optimistic about the results it will yield. Just being more open, more myself, I would say. But having patience with myself with it. When you make changes, a lot of times the results aren't immediate. So I've had to I've been practicing this for the last few weeks now. And it's been tough. I've had bad days, really bad days, good days. But whenever you're trying something new, there's always this learning curve, and you have to just keep at it, stay positive, and just every day go at it. So the results probably, I small results have been coming in, but it probably won't be till another 3 months that I actually see substantial ones. And I'm optimistic about it. I feel really great. I feel a little bit more just stable. And I mean that in a sense of the summer where we're just all summer is just everything's going on and you're squeezing everything into this short amount of time with the nice weather. But fall is just all right, just focus, a little bit more. So I'm working on those things, and I'm optimistic about that. Excited for these changes. This next question is, what's your elevator pitch for who you are? Joe's coming from the startup world, innovation, entrepreneurship. A good question. And I think something about Joe, we had a recent conversation that was just really healthy. And something we really talked about is focus and clarity. And I hadn't really thought about an elevator pitch or thesis or whatever until he sent me this question. And I could answer it pretty quickly. My elevator pitch is, I, Richard Hebron, I am determined to answer the question, how do we create strong and empowered communities physically and digitally in the 21st century? That's what everything that I do, everything I'm learning, it's to try to answer that. So you can't, it's not a linear thing that you can answer, right? You have to go deep on it, or you can't answer that question by just being focused on one thing. So I learn about many different things. I think very nonlinear. I live a very nonlinear life, and it all kind of circles back to answering that question. How do we create strong and empowered communities physically and digitally in the 21st century? I think that's a question we need to answer collectively as a society, and I have a lot of fun trying to figure that out on my own too. So there's that. The last question. How do you define success individually and as a society? I think individually, for me, success is about creating a community of people with shared values where we can collaborate and work together and make a positive difference in the world through like our shared vision and principles. I think feeling part of community is something that's it's something that helps create a sense of purpose and meaning. And I think since the digital revolution, in particular with like smartphones, I think society, we've kind of lost that a bit. And a lot of suffering comes from not feeling a part of a community that appreciates you for who you are, who you have similar ideas about life with. So for me, individually, success would be creating that community and like finding people and bringing people together to create that. And then as far as society, successfully, it's like doing that on a larger scale where we can all have our communities, but then also collaborate, share ideas, and appreciate one another for the diversity of thought and values that everybody has, and work together to create something, to create a world that's better than now, you know, that's focused on love rather than our differences, you know, focus on as human beings, we're so similar, and really leaning on those similarities in our emotions and understanding. Empathy would be a keyword, buzzword. That's how we'll be more successful, and that's something I'm committed to, is like answering that question, like how do we create strong communities this century, you know? We have many challenges, but we also have so many great things going on, and I'm so excited. I'm optimistic about it, and I'm grateful for friends like Joe who are so thoughtful, and I appreciate you saying these questions to me, Joe. Have a fantastic day.